Welcome to Eve Online. Major Freak, I'm going to show you some high-sec mining. I've done this before many times, but this is my most recent, and it's probably a good idea by using this opportunity to just go over everything I've done in the past, probably with more audio clarity. Right then, I've got all my safeties to green. I've got my tabs on my miners to mining tab. Allows me to select fleet hanger, easy enough. Got my inventory to ore hold. It's usually by default the cargo hold. The ore hold is open. And I'll usually try to go clockwise with my accounts so it's not as confusing. And plus I've got min matter skin here, and yeah, it really helps if you've got different faction skins, so you can tell by a glance who you're looking at. It's, when you're busy and stuff, it's maybe it's not difficult for other people, but for me, looking up in the top corner is not what I usually do. I just I get mistaken about who I'm clicking on and stuff, because what are you gonna do, look up in that corner every single time? No. So I'll stop my guys now. I'll have them pointed in decent directions that tell me who's is who, facing these corners right here on the outside edges, so I can see at a glance who my guys are. So this is obviously when I'm looking at it, bam, that's Rentaniel. Easy. This guy is going to have his inventory open, and he's going to open the Orca's fleet hanger and begin dragging everything over. And the Orca is going to move the crystals back into cargo, clears up the inventory, the fleet hanger I mean. And we've got all our proper crystals. We've got ubiquitous, and it's a glistening coesite, and it's worth more than spodumain because it's a jackpot. And I've got my laser fired on the upwell. It's doing a month-long pull. I think this is the start of my month-long. It could be 3 weeks or something, but the ideal for me is a 4-week pull. It just means I'm on field. I don't have to warp away and back to another sector quadrant of my my moon field. And you'll see an interesting thing happens. It's like there's a void space right here, so the best place to warp in is in the middle of the field. And if you do this, and you've got your Orca boost and your Foreman implant for the booster, and your max skills on your miners, and you've got of 4 harvesters plus the 3 harvesters plus the Omega harvest, and the mining for increased yield. But the harvest will give you range, and I get a 44-kilometer range on this. It's probably a tiny bit more. Let's see what's the range on that? Range 43, yeah. So almost 44 clicks. And with that in mind, what I do is I usually keep this on combat for my, put the directional scanner up. And now what I'll do is I'll get the glistening coesite going up, because that's most lucrative right now, and I'll tag them all. Doesn't look like much in range. And 4. Where is it? So I've got on that side, on that side. Oh, what do you know? I'm running out. Oh, probably because I have a mic warp. Alright. I'll turn off my hardeners. Hopefully that stabilizes my... Yeah, I think it will. Cross my fingers. And probably I'll need to stagger that. That might help. Yeah, I think it's cap stable now. Maybe not. Alright, so sorry about that. Now then, I've got 4 set up. I don't think I'll be able to get the range on my guys to get them all. Let's see. 40, no. So what I'll do is I'll get my guys to target all 3 that are in range. And I'll end up untagging number 4. And what I'll do is I'll get my first laser on tag 1 and the second laser on tag 2. And untag this one just too far away. Alright. Okay, so as soon as I'm done depleting number 1, I'm going to switch over to number 3. Wait a minute. Now, here's the thinker here, right? So we'll put on, get the second laser going on number 2, but we'll switch. Whoops. Not cap stable. That's unfortunate. Alright. But the thing is, like, when the rats appear, you can just turn on your remote rep, and it'll reprioritize to the ersatz logi. So get that going for Minor Freak and Hereticus. There. So that spreads it out. So all 3 will... Oh, I'm so used to mining. Alright, let's use that guy's better range. Okay, so we're mining glistening coesite, which I rarely do. And closest one. Alright, so 18, 6, and 12. So as soon as this one goes down, I'll switch to here. Okay, that works. Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, as soon as 2 pops, I'll just go 1 and 3. It's fair enough. Don't do math very well. I'm sure you guys can figure out what I'm trying to do, regardless. Okay, and we'll go to our freighter, yank it in there. So we've got staggered lasers on most of my guys. And you'll find the interesting thing is if you don't stagger your lasers, like for example, you have drones out. Your drones will sometimes make in your orbital these micro stacks. It's because when you have for example, when you have two lasers going at the same time, or pretty much the same time, they will make separate stacks for some stupid reason. But if you stagger them, they go into one. It's just the way it works. I haven't quite, like if you shift the stack, I used to think it would go into the new one, and I think it does, but if you select this one, it'll go into this one. Let's test the theory here. So unselected, it'll go into that one. But I found if I select that, it'll go into there. It's just bizarre. I must have been a buggy day maybe, but it seems to me like the newest stack gets the ore, which will help if you're trying to jettison and switching stacks and stuff. All right, so yeah, it's the new one. Yeah, Eve is weird. You can never quite understand it, which is, I'm sure it's the way they intended. Shift that over. Yeah, that newt is docked in the NPC station for pretty much all day. Just ignore him. I saw one potential war target or ex-war target in the system earlier, but I logged and he left. He was in a stero and probably looking for signatures or who knows what. There's an incursion a couple of systems over that might prevent those silly Care Bears from wandering this way too much. It's usually pretty safe here where I am. If you're on the outskirts like I am from the major hubs, there's hardly any ganking traffic at all. Well, I'm not saying this is the perfect place. There are known gankers about who look for blinged out easy targets, so I wouldn't recommend doing anything silly. But yeah, if you're smart and you make yourself a hard target, the instant you become an easy target for somebody, they'll remember you, and therefore you build a reputation for an easy target. So the best thing to do is always be smart. And as long as you stay smart, they're not going to go, oh, so-and-so's online, bet he's over here, an easy target. You just attract more and more trouble, which is hard when you're beginning because, hard not to, right? But yeah, if you're experienced, you do it right, it's a piece of cake. Bring up the now normally I fly with a different fit. This is just my war target fit, and it gets you off field quick. If you say if I go to warp, say I want to, no, I don't have a warp in on that. Better fix that. If I got a warp in, and I say warp to a station, probably the NPC station in this case. I've got a combat dock, but if I go safe dock, and it's probably smartest if since it's a war, I get this people and places open, and since I don't use since I do not use Seneschal's inventory very much, I'll have that open, and I can just warp fleet and that'll get right on top of the NBC station, and I can dock up. I could go to Zulu, I believe. I'm not sure if it's updated to the proper safe dock. Wouldn't want to overshoot it. But yeah, Comet dock, bam, done. And then if I press the micro warp drive and then turn it red, that there, it'll go into warp right then. So that's super quick warp time. I'd highly recommend. If you're worried about your orca being attacked, use that. It won't help you against being bumped, but if you're smart, you can get the hell out. Whoopsie, blabbing too much. Get that going. Yeah, it's incredibly handy nowadays. We didn't used to have that warning sound when our ore hole got filled up. Our ore hole filled up. It's a nice relief. It saves a lot of wasted time. Blah blah blah. Yeah, a lot of freaking ton of ore decks. Yay! Here's me. Tra-la-la. It's best to just steady and keep a weather eye on this, because when you're in hoax, it happens real quick. I can turn off my tactical now. Whoops. Any signatures? Huh. Well, you know. Alright. There you go. Switch to 1. Now you can see the line. It's actually an overview setting, but if you hover over the active, it'll show you a line. See that line? And that's an indication there's no line here. That's the one. Of course, you can wait till it cycles through and see if it turns off or not. But yeah. Now, normally it's a bad idea, and it was, to keep 4 lasers on number 2. Because one will take the ore, and the other 3 lasers will be wasted time completely. There you go. Restarted. And hopefully the ore amount in each roid will be the same. Close to it. Alright, not really. Okay. And we'll switch to the spodumain, of course. Next, and probably best if I start getting that tagged up right now. I'll move the ore. Ugh. Oh, hello. There. Alright. So, it's tagged up. 1, 2. I wish there was a speedy way of doing this. It can get really annoying. You know? I bet there is. I kind of doubt it. All I need is 8, and that way I can put a laser on each. I've got 4 hulks, 2 lasers, 8 lasers total, and yay me, math. Math is hard. Okay, done. So that's all set up, and of course minor freak will go for 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. Done. Now what I wanted to do is try out mining drones on Seneche, and then use the Hulk drones for defense, because if I guarded Seneche, the remote Logi remote shield booster would turn into Logi, rats would attack that Orca, ignore the mining drones, and the Hulk's drones would defend the Orca. Perfect. But I forgot the mining drones at the station, so yeah. And it's I honestly don't really think it's even significant when compared to Hulk mining ratios. I don't think there's not even a drop in the bucket, I don't think. I'm sure I'm wrong, but yeah. One extra step. And besides, if I needed to work quick, I'd lose all my drones. Right. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the entirety of it. I don't think I need to drone on anymore. You've all seen the combat when the drones appear, and shift mine to combat. Yeah, simplistic. I've got cheap drones out, do the trick. Let's see if I can keep the cap up. It'll probably slowly drain. Let's see how much it goes down. Might last for a while. Simulate. Three minutes. Turn off these. Okay, it's stable. Barely. Okay, there you go. Amy. Should go passive then. Yep, so that is moon mining for you. High sec. Not the setup, but at least a damn good rundown of the actual operation itself. yeah, glistening coesite is worth double, because it's dark pot, double coesite, which is 188, so that's what, 377, 377, so that's easily more than spodumain. And of course I should mine it, of course, absolutely. How close it might take a while for these to pop. It's getting close. Now I want to make sure I show you how, remember to switch crystals. You might not notice it doesn't give you an error message, so you only know when you realize it that you've got the wrong crystals on. You'll tend to find that your ore hold fills up. You've got more time to get distracted before the ore full warning things goes off. So yeah, it's best to get in the habit of, or at least best I show you that. Remember to switch crystals, because it's kind of important. But yeah, I mean, this is effectively the end of the video. If you just want to see how I do at the end, I'll just turn it off after I've switched crystals. I'm kind of hoping for a rat spawn, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen, unfortunately. It's always nice when it does. Turns my video into action movies. Nah, lol. Alright. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure if I was a bit more inexperienced, lol, if I was relatively inexperienced compared to now, I'd probably be very nervous about mining during all these war decks, but the threat assessments are, yeah, laughable. So it's something it's a known, you know. So I'm not too worried. We're the ones war decking people. Can't get cocky though. I'm sure if somebody spots me, they'd fall all over themselves to kill me. And once spotted, they'll know where I am, so it'll be more difficult in the future. But yeah, cross my fingers. Hope people don't put one and one together. Come over and investigate. But yeah, why would they? It's way the far and beyond, back and beyond to where we usually, as a corp, my main PvP corp operates. So, I mean, I'm sure if an intel specialist was, worth his weight in salt, then I'd definitely be found out before now. But yeah, you do what you do. Just careful. And yeah, people just won't pick on you if you just don't do anything stupid, which I wish was the same in real life. But yeah, being good in real life just builds resentment for some reason. But in this game, you hardly get noticed, which is good. if you're good in this game, it means, see, everybody's equal, right? There's no real hierarchy. There's no real power except how good you are. And the only drama occurs when you're in a corporation where people have perceived statuses. That's when you run into the bullies. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure as noobs you've all run into the code people, and the gankers on the gates, popping shuttles and stuff and pods, and yeah, there's a perceived level of risk involved here. And hopefully, that is going to be spared my ramblings pretty soon. Fairly soon. Yeah, to me, it's not. It's found there. I've realized that a Care Bear and Griefer are risk averse players. They don't want they want to win the game with zero risk. That's true for both Griefers and Care Bears. Griefers want easy targets with zero risk. We just fought a huge war with the Russians in Losuk and Genesis, and they are huge risk averse Griefers. It's just, they yeah, they want content for themselves, and they want it that they'll just hot drop anything. There are some that, I'm brave, I'll take out somebody by myself, but they're using the cheapest ships they can possibly do it, or at least they'll be brave when, say, locals not working. There we go. All right, so I don't see the line. I see the line. There we go. Okay, we're ready, and whoop, hello. Did that wrong. No, the crystal could have, sometimes you think you turn it off. Oh, okay, I did turn it off. Alright, so I'll go spodumain. 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 And spodumain. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, there we go. And that is how you slightly incompetently switch crystals. And that is all for today. Summoning rat. No, I guess no rats want to attack me today. Awesome. Betcha as soon as I turn this off, they'll attack. And have a good day.